Peace and blessings to the Dope family. You are now tuned in to Dope Discourse, and I'm your host, Quentin X. And yes, that's my name. That's not a nod to Malcolm. No disrespect to the elder though. But this channel exists solely for the enlightenment and survival and maturation of men. Now before we get into the knowledge, get into the game, go ahead and hit that subscribe and that like button, and also the bell icon so you can stay up on the latest. Now let's go ahead and get into the content, get into this game. So fellas, what's love? No, I really want you to actually answer what love means to you. You know, you can write it down or say it out loud or whatever, but the point is to actually have a concept of what it means to you. So just take a moment to actually construct these ideas. You know, pause the video, do what you gotta do, because I really want to introduce a thought-provoking topic that would challenge the very foundation your thoughts of a relationship stand on. Now, the information is definitely not new. You know, none's new under the sun. But it was produced, or I should say introduced, by Patrice O'Neal. For those who aren't familiar with the brother, he has since passed away, but he was an uncut, raw comedian like none other. And personally in my top 5, heavily underrated. And that's most likely due to him leaving the earth too soon. And if still alive today, he more than likely will be deemed the godfather of the red pill community, or the MGTOW thing, you know. And a little side note, you know, I don't include myself in that red pill MGTOW community simply because the information that I get is coming from a higher source, higher than myself. It's coming from the Most High, you know, when I give it to you all. Now, I'm not guided by a community or guidelines or groupthink, you know. And that's no disrespect to those who choose to be a part of that community, because we're on the same team fighting the same fight, just playing different roles. You know, we're all out to save men because we understand you improve the state of men, you improve the state of the world. It's that simple. Now, I do use, and you will hear me use, a lot of the jargon and nomenclature used by the red pill community simply because I understand we share a lot of the same viewers. And it's intelligent on my part to make my content easy to digest. So naturally, I introduce some of the buzzwords my viewers know and love. So again, shout out to the red pill community. I'm just not of the community. But yeah, you know, Patrice O'Neal was definitely ahead of his time when it comes to the art of understanding male and female nature when boiled down to just pure instincts. You know, something that Patrice would say to the women that came to visit his show is it's more important that a man likes you versus loves you. And at first I didn't understand that. You know, it made no sense to me, but as my eyes opened, it began to make more and more sense, and I couldn't agree more now. So, you know, we're gonna go a little deeper on this topic in homage to the late great Patrice O'Neal, but in dope discourse fashion, you dig? Alright fellas, so let's briefly explore the term love. You know, you should have a good grasp on what love is to you, of course, but now if your definition of love can be quantified by material things or qualified by actions, then I want you to mentally ball it up and throw it over the fence. I'm here to tell you fellas, love is simply the secretion of oxytocin in the brain. You know, we won't go too deep in that or into that, so definitely do some research on that. But basically, oxytocin is responsible for causing us to feel what we deem as love, whether it's love for a parent, love for your child, or love for a woman that you're intimate with. You know, but enough on that. I just wanted to touch on that because it adds context to the topic. So when a man finds himself in love with a woman, at that moment, it pretty much sneaks up on us. Because it's never planned or sought after on our parts. They're the ones who plan and seek love, you know? As men, we're very visual creatures. So initially, the attraction and desire for the woman that we're interested in is physical, and it precedes all other interests. Now, once she shares her body with us, this is where the character comes into play, because at this moment, the chase, the pursuit, the hunt is over. And we're no longer blinded by those desires, and we now start to see her for who she is, her personality, her beliefs, and we start to listen intentionally and realize, dang, she pretty dope. Or we realize her looks is all she has to offer. Now, this is where a lot of brothers go wrong. You know, you continue to entertain those low quality females just to continue to get a piece. But that's another video for another day. But in a nutshell, as men, man, our emotions for women end up morphing into love out of habit. You know, the habits are the routine dates, the routine staying the night at each other's place, the intimacy, and the time spent in general. So, as men, we begin to value that which we invest our time in. That time invested translates to the routines and habits formed. Therefore, a man's love can be translated as time invested, routine, and habit. Now, women innately understand the importance of our time to us, and some are consciously aware of the fact that we value those things which we devote our time to, and some just operate on an instinctual level. So they pretty much try to get enough of your time before they share their bodies with you, if they share their bodies with you at all. The time given has to make sense or justify them giving you a piece, And if she had no true sexual interest in you, then she will accept any time you're willing to give her without giving you any intimacy whatsoever. And then at that point, you are toting the line of the friend zone. Now, keep in mind, these are high quality women we're talking about. High quality women are going to value their body just as much as high value men value their time. I'm gonna say that again. High quality women are going to value their body just as much as high value men value their time. Now that we've gotten all that out the way, my advice to women and the reason they should focus on being likable versus love is it removes them from a self-centered way of existence and removes that standard of what a relationship should be based off their own personal definition of love. Just think about it. Everything you give your focus to and spend your time on is because you like it. And the things you don't like, you don't associate with. If you don't like a restaurant, you don't go. If you don't like someone, you don't talk to them. If you don't like a certain style of clothes, you don't buy it. And if you're not in position to acquire those things you like, then you put yourself in a position to be able to get those things. And on a side note, man, I'm gonna go off on a bit of a tangent right now, but for my fellas in a relationship, or for the fellas who are attempting to build towards one or build a relationship, if you want the word love to actually mean something and have the power that it should have in your relationship and in your girl's mind and in your mind as well, there's a little hack that you can do, So when you're doing this, you don't want to be too aggressive or come off as overbearing, you know what I mean? Because when you're handling women, you want to have a certain level of charm and authority. It has to be a healthy balance, So say you hear your girl saying she loves something, anything. It could be a person, place, or thing. But for example, let's say you hear your girl saying, "Ooh, I love chocolate." Now, again, you want to have a certain level of charm and authority when saying this because you don't want to come off as aggressive and overbearing, right? So what you want to say is, well, hold on now. That's how you get down? You just be out here loving everything, huh? I understand your family, but chocolate, you're supposed to just like that. I need your love to be a little more sacred than that. Now, what this does, or what that does in her mind, in a seriously joking way, you have subconsciously planted a seed that her love should be worth more. It has nothing to do with the chocolate. And then from that point on, if you hear her constantly saying she loves things, she loves this, she loves that, all you have to do is say, all right, now we had this talk. And it's going to take her back to that moment that you subconsciously planted that seed of your love should be worth more, Because truth be told, we're actually living in a time where love has absolutely no value and holds absolutely no weight. I remember a time where people used to be scared to tell the person that they were with that they loved them because the word love actually meant something and actually had a sense of value within society in general. But all right, man, that's a little tangent, but that's high level game right there. As men, I recommend you never to fall in love. You need to groom and guide your woman into falling in love with you, and you need to remain in like, so things can flow as they should. But a lot of people not ready to have that conversation, you feel me? So in conclusion, man, when it comes to relationships, we're forced to lean heavily on the concept of love, which forces us to deal with behaviors we indeed do not like. It's a sort of unwritten rule that if you quote unquote love someone, you look past or tolerate their inadequate behaviors, and it gives them immunity and amnesty to productive critique and constructive criticisms. Like is the precursor to what we deem to be love. But in the midst of building, majority of women tend to become unlikable, plain and simple. Simply because they put their wants, needs, and ideas of what a relationship to be far above yours as a man. Your comforts, your peace of mind, your freedoms and tranquility is infringed upon daily. And you become the bad guy when you insist on keeping those things intact. You become selfish, hard, cold, and not to mention the man that's not for her. All because you're not compromising your comforts and giving in to her commands. All because she is in quote unquote love. So ladies, if you've made it this far into the video without being triggered, chances are you're a high quality woman or striving to become one. So shout out to you, for real. Big up to you, man. It's far more important for your man to like you. If he likes you, then he will give you those things that you deem to be acts of love. Again, liking something in someone is the precursor to liking it or them, period. So stop being so focused on being loved and work on being liked, ladies. And a high value man will easily recognize your value and the value you bring to his life. A lot of women aren't likable, but feel very much entitled to being loved and cared for by a high value man. I mean, think about that. The nerve of somebody to not even know what love is. Not even know the definition and the simplicity of the smallest acts you can do to love somebody. Yet, they sitting up here demanding that somebody loves them. That's just backwards, you know? It's levels to the game, fellas and ladies. You know, we have to seek higher level and deeper insight on what makes each other tick. Get your mind, body, and soul in order, and all else will fall in place. And always remember, man, the pimping is mental, but the game is spiritual. But like I always say, man, it's a hard journey, but a necessary journey of maturation. Be sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button and the bell icon so you can stay up on the latest. Feel free to email me at dopediscourse@gmail.com for your free consultation, and I'll reply in private or on the channel if I feel a dope family can learn from it. Or just hit me up to chop it up, man. It's all good. It's all love. Until next time, my dope family, I'm out.